I'm here in Italy in a rather strange plastic bubble to take a look at this car, the new Jeep Compass EV. Now Jeep and I, we go way back. And I mean way back.
It's a 4-litre Jeep Wrangler. These things can probably get you to places that you don't want to go to at all. Rubicon Wrangler, and it's guaranteed to get you out of a fix.
I did say it was way back, didn't I? Now, I doubt the me of 25 years ago would have ever believed that the future of Jeep would be all electric. And in this video, we're going to be discussing just that. We're going to have a poke around the new Jeep Compass EV to find out all about it. We'll be looking into whether it's going to be any good off-road, which is, after all, quite important for a Jeep. And given that the competition is so tough, we'll see how all the stats and the all-important pricing stack up. But before we get into all of that, subscribe. So the Jeep Compass EV. Now it's the third generation of the Compass, the first time it's been available in pure electric power. And it's going to be fighting it out in the compact electric segment, which makes up 25% of the cars that we buy here in Europe. And there are loads of cars battling it out for the buyer, not least the Peugeot E3008 and the Vauxhall Grandland Electric, which are pretty much the same car as this underneath it all. Now that's because Jeep is now owned by global mega car maker Stellantis, who, like all car makers, is obsessed with reducing costs. So all its different brands use the same components to save money. Now, on the one hand, that's quite sensible. On the other, it can make it quite difficult to create strong individual brand identities. So the Compass, well, it's been designed at one of Jeep's global studios here in Turin, which is where the Avenger was designed. Now, I normally love anything that's been designed in Italy. They do design and style so well, don't they? But I have to confess, I was a bit disappointed when I first saw this last night. It just feels a bit bland, perhaps. I think I was expecting more personality, like we saw with the super cute Jeep Avenger. I just think I was hoping that it would have a bit more personality, as we saw with the Avenger. Look, there's lots on here that lets you know that it's a Jeep, of course. You've got these squared off wheel arches. I do incidentally really like the way the wheels are pushed right to the far corners of the car. I think it gives it a great sort of compact look on the road. And then if you look down here, you've got the original Willys Jeep, you've got the 7-slot grille and those round headlights there, and they're dotted around the car, which are nice little Easter eggs, aren't they? Along with here at the front, of course, you don't get a grille because you don't need one because this is an EV, but you get this design, sort of 7 squares, which resembles the 7 slots to the grills, and it houses the sensors and the cameras to protect them if you go off-road. I just think overall it looks like loads of other SUVs that we see on the road, and as I said, I was just hoping for more. I've been looking at this from the rear and it really reminds me of something, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I know you've got the signature lighting design, but it's not that. And incidentally, I do love this light bar with the Jeep that lights up. But yeah, I just can't figure it out, but I guess it will come to me. Anyway, what do you make of it? I was chatting to the Jeep design team and they were saying that they wanted it to be sleek and unfussy and kind of timeless. Have they nailed that? Or is it a little bit bland? Let us know what you think in the comments below. The big news in here is storage, which kind of tells you exactly where this car is placed, doesn't it? Family drivers. It's up from 14 litres on the outgoing car to 34 litres. That's a lot. So you've got the shelf there, you've got a massive glove box, which if your seat's quite a way forward is going to seriously damage your knees. Big storage compartment in here that also houses 2 massive cup holders. I do love American cars for their big cup holders. You've got wireless charging in here for phones. Oh, another storage compartment in there, which is big. Also really massive door bins. Now, as I'm just sort of feeling around the place here, some of the materials, you know, they're just not that nice to touch. So in terms of screens, you've got a 10-inch screen in front of the driver with all that information you need to see quickly. And then you've got this larger 14-inch screen that houses a new infotainment system. Now I'm seeing this for the very first time. I am happy to report there are some physical buttons. I like the, oh, turn that down, turn that off. I like the volume button. These are a bit strange though. These are kind of haptic-y things and the whole bar moves. I mean, probably need to spend a bit of time in it and drive it to see what that's like. In terms of the screen itself, I mean, this is a pre-production car, but it feels quite slick, easy to operate. I can't really tell you if it's intuitive yet, because as I said, I've been sitting in this for about 5 minutes and that's all the time we get with it. Down here, I've just spotted this. This is a bit weird. So this is the terrain selector for, you know, snow and ice and a bit of mud and all that kind of stuff. And it just feels a bit like it's been put in here from another car. It doesn't really seem to match. I don't know what that does yet, because as I said, this is a pre-production car, so none of that stuff is hooked up and ready to go. Yeah, I mean, it's okay in here. I've been in nicer interiors. I don't think I would say this is anything groundbreaking. And again, it just feels a little bit disappointing. Right, let's talk about size while I'm sitting back here. So it's actually not quite as long as the Skoda Enyaq. It's not as long as the Vauxhall Grandland. Of course, it's stablemate, or indeed the forthcoming Kia EV5. It's actually not that much longer than the Skoda Elroq, so it kind of bridges two categories in a way in terms of its external size. But because they've pushed those wheels right to the outside, as I've already said a couple of times, what you get is quite a lot of space inside, and it does feel pretty roomy in the back. So the seat is set to Manos, who is 6'2". Yes, he's put his thumb up there, I've got that right. And actually look, you've got loads of leg room, and headroom is pretty good as well, of course. But what you get is a slightly strange seating position. So I feel quite raised up. Now you've got the raised ride height in the first place, and then you've got the battery under here, but then you've also got that subfloor to the boot. And I do wonder if that's all part of the packaging idea to get the maximum space from the boot. Anyway, I'm sure you'd get used to it. I think other than that, I would say it feels a bit cost conscious back here. Some of the plastics, particularly the ones that you touch, they're not very nice. The seats are meant to be very durable, really useful for kids. It's this kind of, you know, wipe down fabric, also really useful for dog owners. But again, it just doesn't feel that nice. And given the price that we suspect this will come in at, I'm not sure if it feels special enough. And more on the price later. So by pushing those wheels right out to the ends of the car, Jeep's created quite a clever optical illusion, because it does look fairly compact, but actually it's very spacious inside. This boot is really big. So I was just looking at the stats here. This is 550 litres. The Skoda Enyaq is bigger, but that's about the only car that is. Cars like the Peugeot E3008, 520 litres, the Grandland's even smaller, 514 litres. So it's actually scoring quite well here on boot space. And look, under there, you've got a massive sub-compartment, which makes all the dog walkers like me and Nicola really happy, because we keep our wellies in there. Also really handy, of course, for storing charging cables. So yeah, nice low load lip, which I like. The rear seats fold down. They don't go completely flat though. And in terms of the bumper here, this is all covered in scratch resistant paint to protect it, which is really handy when you go off-road, isn't it? Or more likely, the supermarket car park.
This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024, offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty, and a unique hidden tethered cable.
In terms of power, you get 3 options ranging from 213 brake horsepower in the front-wheel drive version up to 375 in the all-wheel drive. For the range-topping version, Jeep has added a new dedicated and more powerful rear electric motor. Now this will be exclusive to Jeep and not shared with any other Stellantis brands, and it gives an extra 49 kilowatts of peak power and up to 232 Newton meters of torque. Now driving hasn't necessarily been a strong point of the outgoing Compass, but I do expect that an electric powertrain and the new platform will fix that. And given that we do really enjoy driving the Jeep Avenger, other Stellantis cars which share the same tech are all fairly inoffensive, it does bode well for the forthcoming EV Compass.
Okay, let's talk off-roading. Now, you're not going to take this car on the Rubicon Trail like I did all those years ago with the Wrangler. We're going to have to wait for the all-electric Jeep Recon for that. But what Jeep does say is that each of its cars has to have the best off-road capability in its class against the competition. And it does promise that the Compass will have that. Now, I'm not sure that off-road capability is going to be the top of the wish list for many buyers in this class, but what it does mean is that it will be more than capable of getting you along a snowy, icy road or through a muddy field, and that will be thanks to all of this. Feel free to pause it at any time if you want to take a closer look. See? It's got all of that to help it. One thing I haven't been able to find out about, though, is towing capacity. I have asked the question, nobody's been able to tell me, which makes me think that it might not be very good.
It's best to think of the Compass as a soft-roader rather than an off-roader. It's got waterproof seat coverings rather than impressive water clearance, for example. Water clearance is a fairly modest 470mm, and to put that into context, the old Freelander managed 500 and the Defender has an impressive water clearance of 900mm. More useful for tight parking spots and busy city streets are the off-road bumpers with anti-scratch paint, although how well that performs in the real world remains to be seen. All versions come with a terrain selector, which will be helpful on icy days, but its ground clearance is only up to 200mm, which is the same as the smaller Avenger. Even the Subaru Solterra can beat that with 210mm. And even the all-wheel drive versions won't have the off-road credentials in terms of angles and dimensions to handle serious ruts, bumps and snow. This version does include hill descent control as standard, but given that even some Citroën Berlingo models now offer it, I'm not sure that's a particularly impressive claim. All in all, I'm not convinced the Compass will deliver on Jeep's aim of having the best off-road capability in its class, but we'll reserve judgment until we drive it.
Now, like the Wagoneer electric, which incidentally will be coming to the UK at some point in 2026 now, as I said, it's been built on that group platform. So it's been built with larger electric cars in mind. Because it's a dedicated platform, that helps with both range and charging capabilities. So no official news on batteries, but it's bound to share the 73 kilowatt hour and 95 kilowatt hour batteries that you find in both the Peugeot E3008 and the Grandland Electric. What has been confirmed, though, is range. So it's going to have a range of up to 650 kilometres, that's just over 400 miles, closer to 600 kilometres, around 370 miles if you go for the all-wheel drive version. But given our experiences with efficiency on some of the Stellantis electric vehicles, take those claims with a healthy pinch of salt until we can actually drive it and confirm them. Charging, well, that's up to 160 kilowatt DC. That will give a charge from 10 to 80% in around 30 minutes, so pretty much on average with the competition. And it will have up to 22 kilowatt AC charging, something that is very handy. Let's come to the all-important bit, the bit you've been waiting for, pricing. Now, let me set the scene with prices of the competition. So the Vauxhall Grandland Electric is about £36,500 at the moment in the UK. E3008, just under £46,000. Forthcoming Kia EV5 is going to start at under £40,000, and of course you've got a favourite of ours at Electrifying, the Skoda Enyaq, which starts at just under £40,000. Now, we suspect, and we've not had pricing confirmed, so this is a kind of reasonably educated stab in the dark, that the Compass EV is going to start at around £45,000 in the UK for that entry-level 73 kilowatt-hour battery with around 370 miles of range. And I think that is where the trouble starts, because I'm just not sure that at that price It's compelling enough to stand out against the competitors in this class. But of course, we need to wait until we see prices confirmed, until we've driven it, until we know what the monthly payments are going to be. But it's a good job, I think, that Jeep are used to. A rough battle, a tough battle, because I have a feeling that they might be entering one. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and please, as always, do subscribe and turn your notifications on, because we will be driving this very soon.